Hello there. Since I'm cruising at the speed of light right now on the 405 freeway, making my way to LAX, I figured I've got a little bit of time. Maybe I'll just talk about stuff. Yeah, I actually kind of wanted to talk a little bit today about what it is that I do for a living. I'm a Salesforce developer. So what's that? So I'm a developer. I'm a software engineer. I write software, but I do it only for the Salesforce platform. Salesforce is probably something that you've heard of. I'll see if I can find a logo that I can splash up on the screen. But Salesforce is a CRM. That's customer relationship management software. And it's unique and different because it's in the cloud, meaning you don't have to host it on premises. You don't have to go and buy hardware and rack servers to make it work. It's in the cloud. You just buy user licenses and then you're good to go. You start to configure it to work the way that you want it to work. It started out as a sales automation platform. It has evolved over the years to do significantly more than that. Pretty much any use case that you can think of is usually going to be covered by Salesforce with one of their clouds. Honestly, if you're not highly technical, it may not be that interesting to you. But what's interesting, at least to me, to talk about is why I got into it, because there are technical reasons why I did, but there's also a lot of non-technical reasons as well. I was working for a company for a lot of years, and one of the things that I used to do on an annual basis is I would go to a conference. I was a Java developer, and I liked to go to the Java conference that was held by the company called Oracle out in San Francisco every year. And that conference was coming up. You know, I hadn't yet received approval to register for it. It was kind of expensive. You know, it's expensive to get there. It's expensive to pay for the hotel during that time. So because I hadn't received approval, I went ahead and just booked it with my own money, let my boss know, hey, I've got this booked, let me know when it's approved so I can get reimbursed. He comes back, he says, you know what, you're not going to get reimbursed. We're not going to support that this year. We don't have it in the budget. And I was kind of bummed. I had been looking at Salesforce, so I was like, well, look, if they're not going to do that, I'm going to take that money back. I got a refund. And I put it right down on the Salesforce annual conference, which is called Dreamforce. Dreamforce is a huge event, takes place out in San Francisco as well, in the same location at the Moscone Center. I decided I would go and check it out. So I did. And I loved it. I fell in love with the community. They have this thing that they call Ohana, right? Now, Ohana, that's a Hawaiian term. It means family. And it was all Hawaiian themed out there. You walk into the big, opening keynote in the auditorium, and it's all decked out like Hawaii. You got a guy playing the ukulele, and he's singing his Hawaiian songs. And I was like, man, I love Hawaii. I am into this. And the whole Ohana thing was, hey, this community is just all part of one big family. And I'm like, wow, that's some tasty Kool-Aid. I'm going to drink that up, and I'm going to get right into the Salesforce stuff. And that's what started me down this road, and I have not looked back since. Now, the funny thing about this whole Ohana thing is if you really listen to the conversations that take place in the community, a lot of people really question whether or not this whole Ohana thing is actually real. Salesforce is a very large company. They're up and down as far as revenue is concerned because, maybe not necessarily because of revenue, but they're up and down as far as certain technology trends. AI is a big thing right now. I think there's a lot of investment in AI, and Salesforce is no exception. But because there is like a big spend to kind of get up to speed and current with technology, you'll see things from large companies like Salesforce and others where they bring in lots of people. They try to achieve an objective. Maybe they don't hit it right away, or things change. There are shifts that take place, and then they have to do these pretty significant layoffs. And those layoffs really hurt. People get invested in the company. They go and take these jobs. They get laid off, maybe a year or so later. And it can be quite devastating. And that's when you hear people start to question the whole, hey, what's this dedication to this concept of Ohana? Are we really a family if we're all getting hired and becoming a part of this big community, and then we're all getting fired? And it all cascades throughout the industry. Once you see Salesforce start to lay people off at the corporate level, then you see a lot of the implementation partners starting to lay people off. Business shrinks a little bit all around, and it just sort of has this cascading effect that makes people think, hey, this stuff that they were talking about, Ohana, maybe it's not a real thing. I don't really know how to answer that. I'm a developer. I'm not a business guy. I'm also not a marketing guy, right? So I can say that the Ohana concept worked for me. Is it legitimate? I don't know. I don't know, but I stay here regardless. Because one of the things that I learned is that even if Ohana isn't real, even if it's not something that you should truly believe in, what I choose to believe in are the people who really dig the idea, you know? I mean, if Ohana and, you know, if the community of Salesforce isn't truly a family, that's okay. But I definitely do truly love working with the people who seem to think that it is, right? Whether it truly is or not, I don't know. But I really like the people that sort of stick to that standard and make it seem like that's exactly what it is. I like that, and that's what keeps me here. So I am off to do a Salesforce job for my Salesforce gig. It's gonna take me out of Los Angeles. It's gonna take me into Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lots going on there lately. I'm a little nervous about that. I'm mostly, though, nervous about the change in climate. I had to pause story time when I was on the freeway. Ordinarily, the 405 stays pretty packed around the area where I was talking to you. It opened up, and then, you know, once it opens up, you got to put both hands on the wheel. You can't be looking at your camera or anything crazy like that, or else you'll die. I feel like you really do stay in touch with these really great people that you meet along the way. One of the first people that I met in Salesforce was a young lady named Abby. I call her a young lady because she's probably about 15, 20 years younger than me. She was getting married when I last spoke to her. And I just remember that she was just extremely intelligent. She was very gifted at what she did, highly charismatic. So we were in consulting and the customers just loved her. She was always well prepared. She was highly knowledgeable. And then working with her as a developer, I mean, it was just a blessing. She just always had her stuff together. All I really had to do was just listen to what she gave me as far as guidance was concerned, and I knew exactly what I needed to do to be successful on each project. I almost always got paired up with her, and she was just wonderful to work with. Now, she just announced on LinkedIn, she's going to work for Salesforce itself, for the actual company, where she's going to do a terrific job. One of the other people that I always think of is a gentleman named Warren. Warren is so unique to me because I think that I was able to determine that he's about 20 years younger than me. And the reason I bring up age is because I just remember being around, you know, in my late 20s and early 30s and working with people who were older than me and more experienced than me. And I always felt like they treated me like, you know, I was inexperienced, like I was naive, like I didn't know what I was doing. And so I always, as I sort of transitioned into that age and that era of my career, I was like, am I going to have that same attitude for the people that I work with who are younger? You know, is that just natural? But then you meet people like Warren, who, you know, he was my supervisor. He was effectively my manager when I got hired at this one company. And he was not only very, very easy to look up to and respect, but he was just a gifted leader. He had that ability to lead in a way that wasn't forced. It didn't feel awkward. It didn't feel like you were ever being spoken down to. And it's like, wow, how does somebody 20 years younger than me become such an effective manager at such a young age, to the extent that he is even more skilled than some of the managers that I've worked for who are 20 years older than me? It just blew me away. And then Warren is highly entrepreneurial. He's running a business now and doing really well. He's highly profitable. He has a wonderful reputation. It's just amazing. He's just another one of those people in the community that I met who is just very gifted, very skilled, and again, very charismatic. You just like the guy when you meet him. There's one person in particular that I always think of, and that is Pamela, who is just a beautiful soul and a really great friend, who I always feel like I'm going to know her probably for the rest of my life. And she's another one of those people that I met through this Salesforce community. So I don't know, I'm traveling, I'm thinking about what it is that I'm doing for work. I think about some of the opportunities that I have in front of me. And I just know that this is a really good place to be with really, really good people. You know, technology is technology. You can always shift and focus on different things, but there's something about this Salesforce community that I really just love and I can't get away from. It's actually kind of a funny coincidence, maybe, I don't know if coincidence is the right word, that I'm actually traveling to Minnesota because Minnesota has been a real thing for me in Salesforce, actually. So there is a solution architect that I actually worked with for a while, who was, I think, by far one of the best, most talented solution architects that I've ever worked for, and her home base was in Minnesota. And then I ended up almost taking a job twice, I think it was. 2 times, yeah, it was 2 times. I almost took a job at a company that was based in Minnesota. Coincidentally, I am working with that company right now, working with them, not for them. And then I'm working a contract right now that is based in Minnesota. I actually ended up taking a job that was based in Minnesota, also in Salesforce, but just didn't sort of see eye to eye with the way that they did things, and I didn't really connect with the work, so I didn't stay there for very long. But Minnesota, that was a loud announcement. Yeah, but Minnesota has been, it's been a thing for me for a while, so it's kind of funny that I'm actually finally going there. This is actually a huge terminal. I don't think I've actually been in this terminal before. I've flown Delta before, but I don't think I've been in this terminal. I thought Delta was a different terminal. It's really big, it's really pretty, it's spacious. We got these guys over here making some noise with their instruments, doing a show. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting some really cool people that I've been working with for a while, but I do hate traveling. I don't like to travel unless I'm with my wife. I'm kind of a homebody that way. So I'm looking forward to it in a way, but also looking forward to going home. And I haven't even left. Pretty uneventful trip. I'm actually here in Minneapolis now. Landed at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport and got right to where I needed to go. Got my rental car, got my luggage, found my hotel. It's a whatever room, but I'm here and ready to start my adventure. Thanks for listening to me ramble today about Salesforce. It's been a big part of my life and continues to be, so I just thought I'd talk about it a little bit. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I know that you did. Thank you for liking. I know that you did that too. And I'll see you in the next one.